COVID-19. And so my tip for today is all about finding your rhythm, but kind of in a different way. So the tip is this. I'm going to start out with a tip. I normally give the tip at the end, but here it is. The tip is this. Do what works for you. Simple, right? So I have been working from home for like, I think 4 years now. I want to say it's 4 years. And I think I have pretty much figured out my rhythm when it comes to balancing working from home and living at home because a lot of people get messed up. Hey, Angel, go ahead and press the share button for me so everyone can get these tips for Tuesday. If you're joining me live, go ahead and please press the share button. I want to get this out, okay? So anyway, and you may hear my baby in the background, so let me just warn you. But I did not want to stall any longer with the Tuesday tip. But anyway, so we're in the middle of a pandemic, and it's not that we've never experienced hard times in our country before, but this one is different because we have fear attached to it, and so when you start talking about something that you are afraid of, we tend to kind of get crazy and everybody kind of loses it and things like that. And so I just want to start off by saying my first bit of advice regarding the tip is it's my hope and prayer that you are actually praying because we know that God is ultimately in control of all things. And so at any moment we know he can put an end to it. But for whatever reason, he sees fit for us to go through this process that we're going through. And it is that as a process. And so, I would advise everyone to go ahead and follow the recommendations of the CDC. You guys have read this stuff all over everywhere about washing your hands and keeping your hands out of your face and limiting contact with other people and keeping the connections and contact down to 10 people and things like that. And so all of those things are things that you should follow, even if you have faith. There are some practical things that we can actually do in order to not continue to spread the coronavirus. And also because God has given us wisdom, right? So if we are people of faith, then we should operate as God does, and that's in wisdom. And so follow those practical steps. But this is not what this live is about. So I know that a lot of you are experiencing a crisis inside of your home. And that crisis is your children are out of school. And so things are a little bit irregular in your home, if you will. The new normal is very new to some of you, and some of you have never experienced having your kids at home longer than, say, summer vacation or um, you know, summer break and things like that. And even then, you're able to go out and send them to summer camps and things like that. So your contact with them are limited. Additionally, some of you are also creating a new normal because for whatever reason, you've either been laid off of work or your employer has, allowed you to work from home. And so I just wanted to give you some tips because I've been, again, working from home for like 4 years now, and think I have a really good balance here. So the first tip, the main tip is this. This is the overall arching thing. Do what works for you. I see a lot of posts about homeschooling, and I see a lot of posts about all these schedules and things like that. And those things are great if that's the type of person you are, if that's the type of structure you want to have in your home. If you're just joining me, welcome to my Transformation Tip Tuesday. I'm Des. I'm a transformational coach. Thank you for joining me. Go ahead and hit the share button for me. And if you have any comments, go ahead and drop them while we're talking. If you have any amens that you would like to add or any additional information or tips that you would like to add, go ahead and make sure you add them in the comments as well. Okay, so back to where I was. So we have, parents at home who haven't seen the inside of a classroom since the last parent teacher conference. And let's just be real. Some of you don't even see the inside of the classroom then because you don't attend the parent teacher conferences. And so let me just be frank. This live is going to be kind of like an ouch and an amen. So you just kind of get in where you fit in at. And so I'm a former educator of almost 10 years. And so that's why I can speak on this topic with such, fervency because I really want you all to know that it is not absolutely necessary for you to create a classroom schedule in your home. Okay, so take the pressure off. Yes, your kids are at home all day long, and yes, I do believe that they should be doing some things academically related. However, life itself is full of life lessons, and so there are a lot of things that you could do and put in place for your children while they're at home. For example, if your kids don't know how to change a tire, if your children don't know how to cook a meal, if they don't know how to budget a checkbook, if they don't know how to balance their banking and checking account if they have one, if they don't know how to start their business plans. Those are all things that you can do. Those are things that are not being taught in the classroom simply because there's just not enough time in the day to teach those things, and it's not written in the curriculum. So those are all great ideas. Now, for me personally, I did create a schedule, somewhat of a flex schedule, because my daughter is 15 and she's very responsible. But I refused to allow her to sit there on Pinterest all day and texting and FaceTiming her friends. And so what I did was I went to one of my favorite websites and I downloaded some activities for her to do based upon the things that she was doing in school before she left, and also based upon some things based upon the academic the TEKS and objectives for our state. Okay, so if all this is going over your head, you could comment in my comment box, and if you need some help, I can tell you where to go. I've also been sharing on my personal page, and I'll share on my Dad's 360 page a bunch of websites and things like that, because we know technology can incorporate technology into their day-to-day activity. Some schools are out probably for the rest of the year, so you are going to have to be responsible for some of the academia that your child will face and see between now and the end of the school year. Now, some schools were kind of ahead of the game, and so they already have some things uploaded in their work portals and things like that on the school's website for the kids to complete certain things. But like for Cece, for example, our schools, they haven't done that yet, and so I just took it upon myself to get things going. Last week was her spring break. Okay, so no, I didn't take her spring break away. She absolutely chilled. Okay, on her spring break, and then this week we're kind of incorporating some of those lessons. Now she's not doing work all day long, so because I also believe that this is a strategic time for you to spend time with your children. Okay, so if you are able to spend time with your kids, like actually spend time with them, pull out the Uno cards, pull out the Monopoly games, learn a new dance. Like Carrington loves to dance, and so I'll be going live, probably pre-record, because if I mess up, I'm going to be shamed. So I don't know about the whole live thing, but she wants me to learn some dance. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to learn this dance because that's what she likes to do. I also incorporated some activity for her so that she can actually go outside the house. She's in track and cheer, and so we did go outside to the track today, and she was able to run some hills, and our son was able to get some of that energy off because everybody's been kind of cooped up in the house. And so I'm simply saying you have to figure out what works for you in your home. Don't get overwhelmed by the schedules that you see posting all over social media. Breakfast is at this time, lunch is at this time, and so on and so forth. The other thing is the work part of it. So that's the child part of it. That's the academic part of it. There are so many things that your child can do. And if you need some help trying to figure out some of those things based upon grade level and activity level, definitely, leave some comments on his feed. And the reason why I'm saying leave it on the feed is because there may be other parents who don't even know that they have the question, or have the question, and I can answer it all in one space as opposed to hitting me in my inbox and all that kind of stuff. Because there are a wealth of resources for you to use for your children. They do not have to sit around on their, Xboxes and things like that all day long. Now, I think that it's okay to do nothing sometime, but not the entire day. So the other part of it is, what are you going to do as a parent? So these are some of my tips that I use as a work at home parent. I schedule all my calls when possible when my children are napping. So it's just a little trick. So when they go down for a nap, I usually have whatever calls I have to make and things like that. Other than that, I ask people to text me because it's more convenient. And let's face it, we live in a texting world anyway. Now, this works for the industry that I'm in. This may not work for you. Your industry may require that you're actually on Zoom calls and things like that. If that's the case, here's another tip. Try to have those calls when your children are eating. I know that sounds crazy, but our son Chase loves his food. He loves to eat, okay? And so when he's eating, you can rest assured that he's quiet, or at least he's singing and saying his ABCs. The point is, he's not interrupting what I'm trying to do, okay? So that's another time that you can actually take a call or shoot out an email, things like that. So you just have to figure out some kind of work-life balance, but by all means, figure out what works for you in your house. And don't feel guilty if you allow your child to do nothing. And what do I mean by nothing? Actually get some rest. We are so busy being busy in life that we never take a time to have a conversation with our child. How many of you know your child's best friend's name for this week? Because you do know their best friend changes every week, right? Right. So you have to stay current with those kinds of things. So who's your child's best friend? What is their favorite subject this semester? Because you do understand that semester by semester, their favorite subject may change content area. You do understand also that the kids are really missing school. Like, unless they're just getting on spring break, then yeah, they want to be out of school because it's spring break and they think it's all cool. I'm on spring break and I'm going to have an extended break. Where for people like, and children like my kids, spring break is over and they were ready to go back to school. Life is happening for them at their schools. And let's face it, really doesn't want to be in a house with us all day. But that's just the place that we're in for our safety. And so that's what's required. And so what I want to say to you as parents is, don't make your children feel guilty for having to be at home with you. Like, I know baby, they're going to get on your nerves. They're going to work your nerves and all of that. They're going to want to eat several times a day. They're going to want to eat all the food. Well, that's where a schedule may come into play. You feed them breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And, that's a little snack in between, because when they're at school, they're not eating that much. They don't get snacks at school. I'm just saying, if you have to ration your food, if you are on a tight budget, I understand that too. If you're a single parent and your budget is tight and I mean, who could have planned for something like this? No one, right? In terms of being able to put yourself in a position to provide all those things that you would like to provide. We're just kind of winging it, right? We're in survival mode. And that's okay. So again, figure out what works for you. I'm going to keep reiterating my tip. Figure out what works for you in your home. And it is absolutely okay to sit back and relax. Now, I'm not saying that to binge watch everything that you've ever missed on Netflix and Hulu. I'm saying to, take a little downtime. It's okay to not, to actually slow down. And one of my mottos is crisis breeds creativity. I love when I'm able to produce something. When you're under pressure, you produce. I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but when I'm under intense pressure, I produce really creatively. And so I would like to, suggest to you that during this time, you think about all those things that you've been wanting to accomplish that you haven't had the time to do. You're so busy. You have to go to all the practices for your kids, or all of the social events with your spouse, and all of this. Well, now guess what? You have time. God has gifted you this time. So that's your silver lining. Now you have time to write your book, to modify your business plan, to pull down the invention off the shelf, to do whatever, all those things that you say you never have the time to do. Reorganize your closet, purge some things, contact a family member, things like that. Write yourself a note to forgive yourself for something from your past. There's so many things that you could be doing, like working on a business so that you can create multiple streams of income. There are so many things that we could be doing during this time. I'm simply here to tell you to just do what works best for you, and don't get caught up in all of the social media and what's out in the media. Yes, listen to the CDC. Watch a relevant and a reputable source like CNN for current news, and things like that. And of course, we still know that they're going to tell us what they want us to know. So everything is with a grain of salt, right? But in all things, make sure that you are doing what works for you and your family, and that you are remaining prayerful. Don't let what's happening around you get inside of you. If you know you need to take a quick walk in your neighborhood, in your community, do that. If you need to sit in the backyard and just get some fresh air to get out of your house, do that. Do what works best for you, but always consider the effects on other people if you decide that you want to go out to, say, one of the closed locations, or you want to get together with a bunch of folks and things like that. And then the last thing I wanted to just share, because it's on my heart, is that I hear a lot of people saying that, oh, this is not affecting me. It's not affecting me. Well, that's great. Good for you. But it is affecting a lot of people. Some people it's affecting financially. Some people it is affecting, in their health, emotionally and mentally. And guess what? If we are an emotional wreck and a mental wreck, then guess what? Eventually, we're going to have physiological responses to that, meaning, the stress is going to start to get to our bodies. And we know that our immune systems need to be top notch right now. And so just be a little bit, conscientious of what you're saying. And it's all fun and games. I love the memes. Let me say that. I'm not over here extra serious about, too much of it, when it comes to the memes and, oh, you shouldn't be cracking a joke. No, absolutely. A good laugh is always good, and laughter is good for the soul. But I'm saying that in your heart to heart, at the end of the day, make sure that you are, checking on a neighbor if you can, an elderly person who may need some assistance and things like that, So I hope today's tips have been beneficial to you. It is Tuesday. I'm Des of Des 360, and I go live here in this space every week with a tip, a transformation life tip. And, it just depends on what's happening in the world. I never know what the tip is going to be about from week to week. And so today's tip was about doing what works for you while we are in the midst of this pandemic. So make sure you share this. I hope this helps someone. And again, if you need some help with resources and kind of how I manage my time working from home and cooking, because I still take care of the house too now. Before I go, make sure you understand, I'm still cooking meals for my husband and my kids. I'm still getting laundry done, even if the laundry sits in a basket a few days or a week. Hey, it gets done, the clothes are clean. Some nights I do go to sleep with toys still on the floor. So I don't want to present to you or make it seem like I have this perfect thing going on over here. No, but I do what works for me and my house. This is Des of Des 360. This has been another Transformation Tuesday. I pray that you all stay safe and well and healthy. God bless you all.